People could become inadmissible to Canada for several reasons. For example, because of a family member who is inadmissible to Canada, because of medical issues, because of criminality, serious criminality, or even more serious issues like human rights violations, security reasons like terrorism, or maybe for being a member of a gang or organized criminality, and even financial matters or misrepresentation. Is there a solution to inadmissibility to Canada? Because if you are inadmissible to Canada, you may not enter Canada. And even if you are already inside Canada, they will issue a removal order for you and they will remove you from Canada. So let's talk about that. One solution to inadmissibility to Canada is called TRP, or Temporary Resident Permit. What is Temporary Resident Permit? So if you are inadmissible to Canada and there are no permanent solutions to your problem, such as applying for rehabilitation or being deemed rehabilitated, in those situations, your only option will be a temporary resident permit. A temporary resident permit allows you to enter Canada and stay in Canada for a period of between 1 day to a maximum of 3 years. Usually, you need to submit an application to the visa office that is responsible for your country. If your travel to Canada is justified, comparing to your inadmissibility, they will allow you to enter Canada. There are some benefits with TRP. If your TRP is valid for a period of 6 months or more, in that situation, you may apply for a work permit while you are inside Canada. That will allow you to work. And that work permit, guess what? It's an open work permit, which permits you to work for any employer in Canada. Also, if your inadmissibility was because of a family member, and that family member was inadmissible to Canada because of medical issues, if you stay continuously in Canada for a period of 3 years, then you may apply for permanent residency. If your inadmissibility to Canada was because of criminality, not serious criminality, and you stay in Canada continuously for a period of 5 years, then you may apply for permanent residency. You may ask, well, the maximum duration for TRP was 3 years, so how come I can't stay for 5 years? Obviously, while you are inside Canada, you need to request an extension for your TRP. Remember, when you apply for TRP from outside Canada, you need to somehow travel to Canada. That's why the immigration officer, if approve your request, will issue an ETA or a TRV for you, depending on your nationality, and you can travel to Canada. But that temporary resident visa or ETA can be used only once. And as soon as you enter Canada, you cannot use them anymore. They are not multiple entry. In fact, TRP is not a multiple entry option for most people. There are very exceptional cases that an officer may agree to issue a TRP that will allow you to enter and leave Canada multiple times, but in most cases, it's a one-time entry to Canada. And that's important for you to know. You know why? Because if you leave Canada, you lose your TRP. Even if your TRP is valid for, say, 1 year, and then you leave Canada after 2 days or 3 days, you cannot use that TRP to come back to Canada. And that's why if there are alternative options for resolving your inadmissibility to Canada, like, for example, applying for rehabilitation, or if the offense happened inside Canada, apply for acquittal or record suspension, then you need to go in those directions as soon as it is possible.